What's good, Combat Sports fans? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. My bad about that bumping on the mic. Jeez, get your shit together, brother. What's good? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. You already know, it's your boy Bando with a new review of UFC 299 because UFC 299 was this past weekend, and the quick takeaway from it is our boy Dustin Poirier is back. Petr Yan is back. Curtis Blaydes stopped the hype train. And as much as I don't want to say this, we're in the Sean O'Malley era. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this episode. Let's go. So if you watched UFC 299, you witnessed a great card. Fantastic card, top to bottom. The prelims were good. The main card fights were good. Couple disappointments, but that shit happens. So overall, like I said in the intro of the video, I had a few takeaways from the card in itself. I was very impressed by Curtis Blaydes' performance. Just being able to come back after that first round and doing what he did, it was awesome. I was impressed by Kyler Phillips being able to get the win against Pedro Munoz. I didn't expect that. What else happened on the prelims? What did I miss? What did I actually miss on the prelims? Because I didn't see the early prelims. So let's talk about those real quick. Let's give those people some props. So you actually had that Robelis Despain, the one I told you guys on the breakdown, was making his debut. He got it done in 18 seconds. 18 seconds. This dude is going to be a problem in that heavyweight division. Long reach, powerful, and he's very skilled. Let's see what happens with his career. Let's see what type of matchups they get pushed with him. But very impressive win. 18 seconds. How can that not be impressive? Moving on, Michel Pereira got the win over, I'm not even going to pronounce the last name again. You already know I butchered it in the last video. But Michel Pereira got a good win. Good submission win. Little unexpected to get the submission win, but he got it done. So props off to him. Philip Lins went in there and beat Ian Cutelaba. So thank you for that, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you for that. You know, that is solid. Not a Cutelaba fan. Then, like I said, you had Kyler Phillips beat Pedro Munoz. You had Matus Gamrot beat Rafael Dos Anjos. Rafael was doing good in the first round. It just didn't seem like he can keep it all together. The chain wrestling of Matus is very hard to deal with for a lot of these fighters, and that's what his style is a chain wrestling style. He's very good at it, and he did well. Then you had Caitlin Chikagian versus Macy Barber, or Caitlin I can't even think what her new last name is. She's married now, obviously, so she's got a different last name, but it still says Chikagian here. So, but either way, Macy Barber got the win in a close fight too, because Caitlin was doing her thing. Caitlin was doing well in the early parts of the first round. I felt like she was doing pretty well in the second, and then Macy's just started finding ways to start tagging her a little bit more and using the strength. Macy's a strong type of fighter. Her whole base is strong. Everything that her style comes from is from her base. So if she could really start adapting and evolving into some more of like a wrestling background, I think she could be a very dominant fighter in that division. Then moving on, you had Curtis Blaydes knocked out Jailton Almeida. Thank you. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore, man. We just watched 25 minutes of the man crotch sniffing Derek Lewis, and he's supposed to be a top prospect. I get it. His ground game is fucking beautiful. His takedowns, beautiful, right? But I didn't want to see it again. So thank you, Curtis Blaydes. Thank you for being on the other side of the uppercut this time. And it was a wild uppercut too. Like he shot in and Curtis went under his arm too and caught him with just like a little clipped uppercut. Enough to drop him and started landing some mean hammer fists on him. And he got the win. So thank you. Like I said, thank you, Curtis Blaydes. And honestly, I wanted to see Curtis Blaydes win regardless of his opponent. Curtis is one of those guys who has had such a weird career. A dude that should have been fighting for the championship, always got close, knocked back down, gets close again, knocked back down. Continuously, it has happened to him. And that's the thing. It's tough when you see opponents or competitors go in there and you want to see them win, and they're not getting it done. And Curtis went in there against a lot of guys that he should have got it done against, because all around he was a better fighter, but didn't get it done. So curious to see what they'll have next for him. They're talking already about the interim champ Tom Aspinall fighting Curtis Blades. I love that fight. Let's actually get it the way it was supposed to happen. Unfortunately, Aspinall had the injury last time, but I think you book that now. It'd be a fantastic fight between the two. So moving on, let's get into this main card, because it was a banger. Piotr Jan. That's all I gotta say. Piotr Jan. My man Piotr. Piotr Jan got it done. Beautiful win. Beautiful win. Look, choppy first round. Choppy first round. Look, Song Yadong's striking is beautiful. It is beautiful. His boxing is very good. Every single time that Piotr Jan would throw a leg kick in the first round, he was getting clipped with a check left. Song Yadong, you can tell, throws with bad intentions. Every punch he throws, bad intentions. And they were close to landing some mean ones on Jan. He caught Jan with some good shots. Like I predicted, I wouldn't say it was really fight of the night, but it was a great fight. It probably was fight of the night. Honestly, there wasn't any crazy, like, real back and forth fights besides this one. But the way Piotr made the adjustments in 2 and 3 shows you that he's been there before. He's fought top competition, and the best thing to see him is get back in the win column. I want to see him up in the top 3 of the division, making statements. I truthfully believe he won that fight against Sean O'Malley. So one day I think they will run that back. And I think it'll be a really big fight if they do. If Piotr Jan gets like one more win under his belt and you push that, it's very possible. But yeah, really nice to see Piotr Jan back in the win column. He made the right adjustments. He did exactly what he needed to do. Started striking, letting his hands go a little bit more. And was just opening up. And when he did that, it was just better for him. And he was mixing some dope takedowns in, some like unpredictable takedowns. Just did well. So shout out to Piotr Jan. Welcome back to the win column, my guy. Moving on, you had Jack Della Maddalena beat Gilbert Burns when Gilbert was winning the whole fight. Gilbert was winning that whole fight. Gilbert was doing his thing. I mean, he was losing parts of the striking here and there, but I had Gilbert up. I had Gilbert gonna win by decision. I mean, there was 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. A minute and 25 seconds to be exact. A minute and 25 seconds. It's wild how it happens. Gilbert went to change position. He had him down. Had him in a good position. One of those positions where you can basically stall it out. You can stay in that position, throw shots from the ground, just put in work on that end. But Gilbert went to adjust, went to go high on the back, slipped. Jack was able to roll out. Jack rolls out, and Gilbert goes to shoot again as soon as they stand. And boom, gets clipped with a beautiful knee by Jack Della Maddalena. And he was able to get it done. He got the finish from there. And it sucks for Gilbert. I love Gilbert. I want to see Gilbert get wins. But shit happens like that. And Jack Della Maddalena is very, very talented, very, very skilled. His striking is clean. And he was never out. I give him props because he was never out of the fight. Even though he was losing a lot of the fight, he wasn't out of the fight. So, good win for Jack Della Maddalena. He called out Shavkat. We'll see what happens with that. I mean, that's a huge fight, and it's nice. Finally, you got a big-name prospect like Shavkat going up against a big-name prospect like Jack Della Maddalena. Fucking do it, man. Do it. And if you don't do that, you got to start mixing some shit in. Why don't you give Jack Ian Gary? 2 big names, 2 young up-and-comers. These are fights that people want to see because this guy's young, and then you get good stories on the back end, right? I mean, think about when Dustin and Conor first fought. Young and early in their career. And then on the back end, we're 7-8 years later, they fight again. And it was a fantastic fight 7-8 years later. So it's one of those things you could build good stories from now and be building them for years to come. So get Jack up against a prospect that is up in the top 10, but another guy that is, like I said, kind of a prospect, it's Shavkat's not really a prospect, but he's still new. You know what I'm saying? He's still new to the division, still new to being up in the top 5 and stuff like that, top 10. So I think getting Jack one of those fights, it would be very interesting. Kevin Holland, my brother, guy, this is for you. So you need it. Look, I'm a big Kevin Holland fan. I fuck with Big Mouth. But Trailblazer couldn't get it done. The Trailblazer could not get it done against MVP. I thought for sure Kevin Holland was going to have some sort of something for him, right? You know, we saw how Wonderboy was freezing Kevin a lot, but Kevin was still landing shots. The movement of MVP really fucked with Kevin. It really fucked with Kevin. Either Kevin was just completely off on Saturday night because his punches looked terrible. Everything was looking terrible. He was swinging for the fences, slipping, falling, missing his shots, going for the clinch, holding and not getting anything done from the clinch, not shooting for any takedowns, couldn't get anything from that. Just was not a good fight. How is Kevin Holland a black belt? Some people were asking. I'm like, damn, just because he can't get the man down? But I understand. He didn't look like a fucking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he didn't look like a top UFC contender. Michael Venom Page came in, made us. He wanted to make a bigger statement, but he came in and did what he does. Right? He gets wins like that. He's a point fighting style guy. If he doesn't knock you out, right? And he did good. He did good. There's nothing you could really want more from Michael Venom Page to do on his debut besides get a knockout. But he was coming in against a guy who's already established in the UFC. You would think that he would have had more pressure put on him, put in shittier situations than he's ever been put in, and he wasn't. Michael Venom Page came in, showed out, did his thing, got the win. Can't say nothing about it. It's more of like, damn, it sucked to see Kevin Holland not be able to do what we know Kevin Holland to do. He looked like he had nothing. He had no takedowns. He had no success from the clinch. Wasn't landing any strikes. And if he got close, they were not clean enough. You know, Michael Venom Page moves so well. Curious to see what they got next coming for him. A lot of people want to see him against Wonderboy. That probably makes the most sense, right? But another name I just mentioned a fight ago, Ian Gary. You know, I know a lot of people wouldn't be thinking that, right? I know that wouldn't make a lot of sense to people, but it'd be kind of fun. It's a good striker in Ian Gary, right? And a very flashy, wild fighter in Michael Venom Page. Could Michael Venom Page slow down Ian Gary? Ian Gary is on the rise to more wins to put himself in contention, right? I'm not a big fan of the cat. I don't think he deserves anything crazy, but, you know, it's just something, right? Is something, you know. And then Michael Venom Page, Wonderboy, fantastic fight. Wonderboy's on the older side too. You know, they're both on the older side, but it's different. Wonderboy's been in a lot of tough ass fights in the UFC. Michael Venom Page has been in a lot of easy fights in Bellator, to say the least. Not easy fights in terms of the competition. Easy fights in terms of he didn't have to do anything. Like, he went in there, got the finish real quick, got out unscratched. He did that a lot in his Bellator career. So we'll see what happens. We'll see who they book him up against. You never know. The UFC can switch on you very quick and throw you a curveball that you were never expecting to try to swing at, right? It's a tough thing to match make. And if they can find the right type of matchup that makes sense for Michael Venom Page and also makes sense for the fans, it makes dollars for them. So we'll see what happens. Moving on to the co-main event, my boy Dustin, the Diamond. I'm so proud of Dustin. Way to get it done. Way to not allow the up-and-comer, the next big thing to be made off of you. Benoit Saint-Denis is an animal. I am taking nothing away from Benoit Saint-Denis because he came out with a fucking mindset to destroy. And he was close to doing it. He put the pressure on a guy like Dustin Poirier, which is hard to do. When you put pressure on a guy like Dustin Poirier, you know what you're bringing yourself into. It's hard to do, man. It's really hard to like push yourself to like go and get in a war with Dustin Poirier, who is known for getting in and winning plenty of wars. So Benoit was doing his thing. He was getting takedowns, holding them down. He was landing heavy shots. but he couldn't finish Dustin. Here's the thing. When you put Dustin back up against the cage, right, and he's got to shell up and box, and you get clipped with something, you don't realize, man, that shit is coming with power and speed, and he's seeing it. He's waiting for it. It's a counter. It's not him just throwing willy-nilly when you're trying to knock him out. He is seeing what he's throwing at, and he is hitting his target. He's one of the best boxers in the UFC with his very unorthodox southpaw style. And the thing about it is, if you get tagged with a straight by Dustin, it's going to sting you, just like it did to Benoit Saint Denis. And if you get tagged by a hook by Dustin, you're going to sleep. And that's what happened. Benoit was, like I said, put the pressure on him. He was bringing a lot of heat to him early on. That second round came in. And besides the fact that Dustin Poirier tried to jump to the guillotine 46 times, okay, hundreds of times, this man would not stop. No, I'm kidding. I mean, he jumped it like 4 times, but it just wasn't working for him, right? It just wasn't him. But my man Dustin wants to get that guillotine. Brother, I hope you get it one day. I hope you get it one day. I would laugh my ass off. I would laugh my ass off if you got the guillotine against Islam. Not because I'm not the biggest fan of Islam. It is simply because out of all people, you would sub him with a guillotine, right? But I don't see that. But either way, right? He jumped guillotine, goes back to his corner. His corner says, don't jump guillotine again. Don't do it again. What does Dustin do 2 more times in the next round? He jumps the guillotine. And what didn't he get? The guillotine. But the second time was kind of like in a way, like he pulled him down, was holding him in the guillotine, and then when he let go, he went for, he kept it on the feet and he went to strike with it. So it did benefit him to do that. But yeah, he wasn't getting that guillotine. He wasn't getting it. He wasn't getting it. He wasn't getting it. And damn, Benoit Saint Denis has got to be strong too, because he was getting out of him like it was nothing. We all wanted Dustin to get it, but the finish that we got, way better. Straight left, right down the pipe. Drops Saint Denis. Completely stunned him. Got back up. I think that's when the guillotine was attempted. Let go. Check right hook. Good night. Good night. Lights out for Benoit Saint Denis. But don't count that guy out. Do not count that guy out or sleep on that guy. I promise you, he's the future. He's part of the future of the lightweight division. Look, we love Dustin Poirier. We love Justin Gaethje. We love these guys that we see fighting in the UFC. But at the end of the day, they've been fighting for a long time, right? So you got to see the next big thing come up and take out the old guard. That's just how the game goes. Just Dustin's here to stay for a little while. But when the time comes, Benoit Saint Denis, Mateusz Gamrot, Arman Tsarukyan, these guys are going to be the big names in that division. And I think Benoit Saint Denis is going to be one of the guys who, even if he doesn't get the belt, he's going to be one of the most exciting fighters to watch in the division. So Jalen Turner, another lightweight on a come up. You got to keep an eye out for him in his future run. He's fighting Renato Moicano that was just announced for UFC 300. So big things. Big things are in that division for the future. I mean, it's the best division, one of the best divisions in the world, and it continues to be that. And that's what I love about it. Moving on. The main event. I know you guys are like, does he have to spark it every single time? This time, I really do. I really do. This one hurt my heart. I wanted to see Marlon get this done. You guys heard me. I didn't even want to pick a winner because I didn't want to jinx it. And I fucking said go with Marlon. And what did I do? I jinxed it. No, I didn't jinx it. Sean O'Malley just performed phenomenally. There's nothing I can say bad about it at all. The only takeaway I can take away from this fight is Cheeto's got a fucking chin. He needs to throw a little bit more in his fights. And damn, Sean is fucking fast. Sean is quick. Sean is way quicker than I thought he was. He's faster than the majority of the division when it comes to striking. It's pretty clear to see. But I will be interested to see him one day against Corey Sandhagen. It's coming. Just wait for it. It's coming one day. It's the 2 best strikers in the division. They gotta meet up one day. Sean's gonna have to face Merab. We'll see what happens with that. But that performance Sean put on Saturday night, can't say nothing negative about it. The dude's boxing was crisp. His kicks were crisp. And his defense was crisp. right? I mean, he got hit a few times. Marlon caught him with some good shots and stuff like that. But if you really paid attention to the first few rounds, every body kick that Marlon threw, which is something that Marlon does very well, throws good body kicks, good teeps and stuff like that. Every single one of them was getting blocked. Sean was pushing them away or catching them. And I think that was fucking with the game plan for Marlon Vera, right? And I think he needed to change it more to a boxing style and just couldn't. It's tough to slow a guy down and cut him off when they move that much. And they're also hitting you. Every one shot that you get, they're hitting you 3 back. So it's very hard to stop a guy, freeze him in his tracks, unless you hit him with something mean. And Marlon couldn't hit him with nothing mean enough to slow him down. And that was the biggest issue for Marlon. I really wanted to see him get the win because I'm a Marlon Vera fan. You know, I'm not a big Sean O'Malley fan, but when you fight like that and you perform like that, no matter if I'm a fan of you or not, I'm going to want to see you fight. Simple as that. I want to see 2 things when you perform like that. Okay, I want to see who's the guy that can stop you, right? And is this going to continue for you? I want to see those 2 things. Are you going to continue to be this good? Is the next fight going to be like this or better? Or the next 2 fights going to be like this or even better? Or who's the guy that's going to take you out? And that's what I'm going to be watching for, right? It's so when you sit back and you hate on fighters and you hate a fighter and stuff like that and you're not rocking with them, right? If they're exciting, you can't take nothing away from them. And that performance that Sean put on Saturday was an exciting performance. What are you going to do? I hope to see Marlon Vera back into, contention soon, right? Get a couple wins, come back, we'll see what happens. But it's the Sean O'Malley era. Unless Merab can somehow derail that. Which, with Merab's last performance, you would think that he's probably unbeatable. But then you watch Sean's performance, and you think he's low-key unbeatable. Unless he goes to 145, I don't think he has that same success against Aaliyah. He moves a lot, he's very fast, but the way that Aaliyah closes the gap and closes distance, and then throws 4 or 5 punch combination, I don't know. I don't know how Sean would do with that. Sean does tend to reset at times and drop his hands, and I think Aaliyah could be able to be that guy to close that gap. But like I said, a performance like that on Saturday, you can't dog him, can't take nothing away from him, and he looked like a world beater. And I'm more interested to see what's next and see who's next, see if there's a guy that can take him out or see if it's going to continue like I said. And that's something we'll just have to wait and see. But like I said, Sean O'Malley's era is now. And yeah, as much as that hurts me to say it. Because I don't want to say that at all. Not even the slightest bit. I would love to say it's the Chito Vera era. Think about it, the Chito Vera era. But it's never out of the cards. My man will be back. But fantastic card for UFC 299, and I am very excited for UFC 300. But that is it for this episode, so I will catch you on the next episode. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notification button if you haven't already, and I will catch you on the next episode. I appreciate you for watching. I'll talk to you later. Peace.